Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. This will be our first video, what I think is going to be a pretty exciting project. We teased it a little bit on Facebook, and we are printing a full-scale Ferrari F40. So I frequently hear, who would download and print, 3D print a car? So this is something you've seen some other YouTubers do. I think we're probably doing it on a little different scale. We're not printing the body and putting it on an existing car. We're actually going to print the body, and we're going to make a fiberglass body from the 3D print, and we're going to build a bespoke chassis and use modern gear, modern running gear for that car. So the first part of this video, we thought we would take a little bit of a tour of the shop. So we haven't really done a video of the entire BGMSGarage shop. This is actually our front office area. Jack has an office here, I have an office here, and you can see the 3D printers in here. So we have 9 printers. We have 7 Bamboo X1 carbons. We have 1 X1E and 1 H2D. So we thought we would include a little bit of video about what 3D printing is and kind of how we got started with it and what brought us to this point. So Jack can pan the camera around the room. You can see we have F40 parts everywhere. So we've been printing these parts for a few months now, and there are hundreds of them. So we're pretty excited to start assembling some of these parts and showing you guys the progress of this. Should be pretty neat once it all comes together. So what is 3D printing? If you guys come over here to one of the printers and we will show you, this is one of our X1Cs. So we are printing all of these out of PETG HF. It's a bamboo material. And basically what this thing does is, you have this filament, which is 1.75 millimeters in diameter, and it feeds into this extrusion head, and more or less, I can open that up a little bit, more or less, it builds up. This one is set to 0.2 millimeter layers. So layer by layer, you pull the file in, it slices the file in the software to these little layers, and layer by layer, you build this up. And then what you end up with is these little layers build up and build you apart. This happens to be one of the corners of the door jamb for the F40. So you can see these bamboo printers. I started printing about, I'm gonna say about 9 years ago, and had a Fusion F410 printer, which was awesome. Actually donated that to someone who's getting started in 3D printing. Let her use it. And it still worked fine. Just the technology has come so far. These things, they print much faster, much higher quality now. And the materials, we've really got these dialed in. You can see how great a surface finish these parts get. It should be pretty neat to see this thing all printed in red. So basically, layers all build up, part comes off. I've numbered every one of these parts. You can see there, like I said, there's hundreds of these parts. So every one of them, this happens to be from the middle section of the car, 50M, this is part number 50 from the middle section of the car. You can see all these parts, 18M, they're all numbered. And I've actually printed all of the front end of the car, which you'll see later in this video, laid out, kind of show the process for putting these things together. I've printed most of the rear of the car, and we have printed all of the wing that goes on the car, all of the dashboard so far, and we'll do some subsequent videos with the other sections. So really wanted to do an introduction here as to how we got into 3D printing, kind of the materials. If you guys have questions, post them in the comments. I'm happy to answer. Anyone who's local, I'm happy to have you come by here and I'll show you our 3D printing stuff, show you the parts, show you the process. It's a pretty neat technology, and we use it for a ton of things. We'll show some other 3D printing videos on our channel. We've made quite a few parts for the Porsche race cars. We're working on some Ferrari race car parts right now. Pretty neat, like I said, pretty neat process. Lots of things you can do with it. So enjoy the rest of the video and enjoy us putting together our first 3D printed car. So the biggest question we've gotten asked so far is, how the heck do you plan to attach all these parts together? You can see there's hundreds of them here. So what we did was we looked around, kind of tried to see what other people were doing, and we ended up buying a we ended up buying a staple gun to weld staples, plastic welding a stapler. We bought a soldering iron and then good old-fashioned CA glue, super glue. So if you look here, we did we took some spare pieces, some extra pieces, and I actually used the staple, used the soldering iron, and a combination thereof. And this actually works pretty well. Like, this holds it together. Part of the problem is just the deformation on the face, and it takes, you know, probably a good 20 or 30 seconds for the plastic to cool back off. But this is very robust. It really keeps the parts together really well. The other thing then we talked about was glue. So just using CA glue with a kicker, which basically makes the glue cure quickly, is really a great, it takes a few seconds. So I'll spot it together here, and then put glue down the seam, which may or may not be necessary, but you can see, if you know anything about F40s, you can kind of see what that part is for. But I think we will probably use some combination thereof, but probably for the most part, we'll use the glue. It seems to be the fastest thing to do. And then depending on the next steps, we will probably fiberglass the back side of these. So ultimately the goal is to take these parts, and once you have the full assembly, make a mold from the face of these parts. So it'll be a little more work for us depending on how accurate you are with the heat, whether the soldering iron or the stapler. So I think as far as quickness goes, the super glue is going to be the best thing to use. So that's where we're going to start at. Hope that answers your questions. If not, again, post in the comments. I'll try to include some extra pictures, give us other ideas for other videos, what you would like to see. You guys have seen the pictures of the piles of F40 parts that are stacked up on the desk, and I decided I want to get some content out regarding this project. So I decided to set up a little area here, put some lights under one of the lifts, cleaned up the floor. What I'm going to do is take these two pallets, contain, I'm pretty sure, all 60 of the front pieces of the vehicle. So we're going to lay these out, kind of give you an idea of what we're trying to accomplish here, and should be a pretty cool process to see the parts laid out. So we are going to lay them out on the floor and try to see which way it looks better, whether we're over here. I'll probably set the camera up over here. Interestingly enough, there's actually, some of you guys who know me, locals, there's actually a Ferrari Daytona, another fake Ferrari up here. This is a McBurney Daytona Spider built on a '68 Corvette. And Thomas McBurney built about 90 of these, 80 to 90 of these, and then reportedly a few hundred kits. So according to Thomas, who I've spoken with about this particular car, sent me some pictures. This, he believes, is the last kit that he supplied. He sent me some Polaroids of the shop where it was delivered in Ohio. So pretty interesting story there, but kind of ironic after I set this up that I'm going to put together parts for another fake Ferrari underneath my existing fake Ferrari. So I'll set the camera up and start putting this stuff together. So on each one of these parts, there's a corresponding number on the front end. This part, for example, is 17. So they started in the middle, and basically you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, so on, so on. So a few of these early parts I didn't put numbers on, but I roughly know where they go. And obviously, once I started seeing how many parts I was collecting before assembling anything, it really made sense to number the parts. So the front end of the vehicle just has numbers. The middle of the vehicle has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, followed by M. The interior parts that I've started printing have D for dash, I for interior. So, but you can see how these parts basically will match up. And I think with them laid out on the floor, you'll really start to get a good idea of what the whole process is and what it's going to look like. After printing 3 of these, this is where I decided that I should probably start numbering every single part. So these probably take about 4 hours to print a piece, so you know, I wasted 8 or 9 hours and a little bit of material. So that entire process from wheeling the pallets out, giving a brief introduction, took only about 12 or 13 minutes. So you can see the iconic front end shape of this F40. And like I said, 60 pieces here. And then I did print some spare pieces, some multiples here. We are going to need to practice how we're going to join these things together. I've got a few options that we're working on. And pretty neat to start seeing this come together. So I do have a lot of the midsection of the vehicle. I don't know if we'll assemble the midsection in this video or save that for our next video. Really wanted to do a quick introduction, show you what the parts look like, kind of lay them out instead of a pile of parts. You can see how sequentially how the parts will go together, and overall should be pretty neat once it's assembled.